Now I'm recording.
Red Bull.
Gives you wings.
Yeah.
Gives you wings.
Word for word.
Yeah.
You're on.
Yeah, you guys owe me money.
What?
Go.
I just did a commercial.
Oh.
Hello, John MacArthur. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Why, hello, Mrs. Kennedy. Is the president available?
No, I'm sorry. He's not at the moment. He's meeting with his advisors.
Oh, alright. Such a busy man he is. Well, I will just wait for him. We've got some important business to talk about.
If you don't mind me asking, what is this important business?
Confidential information about Cuba.
Sounds very important. Well, if you follow me, we can wait in the blue room.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, sounds good. This room is gorgeous. It looks a lot better than I remember way back then. You and your decorators have done a good job redecorating the White House.
Why, thank you. But it's not redecorating. It's making more of a historical home. The only history you could find in this house when we arrived was only up till 1948.
Yes, each president has modernized the home over the years. However, you bring the history back.
Why not? It's a historical home, and it belongs to the people of the United States. We're just temporary guests.
Yes. What period is this room?
This room is based on the Monroe period. As you can see, there are pictures of the presidents near his time on this wall, and with furnitures all around the time.
I see. You have done a marvelous job, Mrs. Kennedy. I would say this room is a big contribution from you. How long did it take?
The restoration began after Jack's inauguration and ended a month before the White House was viewed on TV in 1962.
That took a long time.
Yes, but it looks good. One of my goals was to bring the arts to this house, and I've accomplished that. Would you like a drink?
No, thank you.
Okay, General. Well, you're a very famous man. I admire your time serving in the Army. How long was it?
Well, I started my service in 1903 when I graduated from West Point, and it ended when Mr. Truman and I had a debate. But my military service was 52 years.
Oh my. Well, thank you. That is quite some time. So, tell me a little bit about yourself, General.
Well, I was born January 26, 1880, in Little Rock, Arkansas. Supposed to be a rocking chair. It's not working out too well. I was born to Arthur MacArthur Jr. and Mary Hardy MacArthur. I'm the youngest of three boys, Malcolm and Arthur III. Malcolm died of measles after 3 years after I was born. My father was a military man like myself. My mother cared for all of us. When I went to military academy in San Antonio, Texas, I guess you could say that's where my military career started.
What college did you attend?
If you consider West Point a college, but otherwise I never went to college.
I would consider that a college. It taught our men to be heroic. What was your career like during this time you served?
Well, this will be long. When I got out of West Point in 1903, I was assigned to various posts like any other junior officer. But in 1914, I was sent along in the Veracruz expedition, the one to Mexico, the one Wilson sent. After that, when we were finally pulled into World War I, I was sent to command the 42nd Division. We were involved in many offensives on the Western Front. During that, I was promoted to Brigadier General. After the war was over, I became the superintendent of West Point. I was the youngest superintendent so far. On January 17th, 1952 is another major point in my career. I was promoted to Major General, which again, I was the youngest in the U.S. history. After I was sent to the Philippines after a while, where I oversaw the creation of the Philippine Army, and I was promoted to Field Marshal of the Philippine Army. I would stay there until the Japanese forced me out in 1942. I would receive a Medal of Honor for my actions there. and I vow to return later, and I did. After the war, I oversaw the occupation of Japan and watched the war trials. It got boring after a while, and then Korea happened, and then you know the story from there.
Wow, that's very impressive, General. So now what are you going to do now that you're retired?
I just plan to live my years out of peace. Maybe visit Eisenhower in the Philippines again.
That sounds wonderful. You deserve it after all the hard work you have put in throughout the years.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of looking forward to retirement. So, tell me about you, Mrs. Kennedy. All I know is that you're the president's wife.
Yes, well, my father is John, also known as Jack Bouvier, and he worked with stock. And my mother is Janet Lee Bouvier Auchincloss, and I have a younger sister named Lee. However, in 1940, my parents divorced. I was devastated by that. My father and I were very close. In 1942, she then remarried to Hugh D. Auchincloss.
Weren't you also some Bunte? I remember reading that somewhere.
Yes, I was a debutante of the year in 1947, right before I attended college at Vassar, and then later on at the university in Sorbonne, France.
You were social elite, I can tell.
I guess you can say. Oh, those are the days when I dreamed of becoming a reporter or a photographer. One day I hope to return writing and become a book editor or an editor, like at Doubleday or Viking Press. Oh, I only dream of working there.
That would be your kind of job.
That would most certainly. One day when Jack is done with politics, I will return. Otherwise, it is my responsibility to support him and raise our children.
I admire you, Mrs. Kennedy. You have elegance and poise.
Thank you. Although it's not all just me. I don't know how I could live without Jack. I'm very proud of him.
Well, I'll be on my way. Talking to you was a pleasure.
Thank you, General.
Bye, Paul.